turned this concept art into a 3D scene. And if you want to know how, then tag along and I'm gonna walk you through my process. Hi, my name is Ivan and this is how I created the Craftsmans workshop. I started with gathering references. I hit up ArtStation, searched for stylized fantasy and looked for something that stands out for me. And this artwork caught my eye, so I decided I'm gonna use this for reference. I jumped into Blender and deleted the default cube. Just kidding, I started the blockout with simple shapes like cubes, cylinders and spheres, moved and scaled them around to get the desired shapes. It's really important just to focus on the proportions and the overall silhouette of your scene. The details and the refines are gonna come later. This is where I'm doing the table. I just use cubes and scale them around. For the floor, I'm gonna be using a circle like this, subdivide it a few times, delete the edges where I need the planks to be. I use these simple methods for the blockout. The only exceptions are the skull and the leaves, which you will see later how I made them. For the clothes, I just duplicated the surface it will be laying on and scaled it down. For the handle and for the scrolls actually as well, I used one vertex, I extruded them in the desired shape and applied some modifiers to get what I need. Here, doing the same with the scrolls, extruding one vertex in the spiral shape and extruding them upwards and adding a solidify modifier. This is what I ended up with. You can see the wireframe as well, and I jumped into sculpting. For the sculpting, I actually started with a skull because I will be needing it for the chest and the armchair as well. I sculpted it from scratch and used a free software called Instant Meshes to retopologize it. For the other objects, I just used the low poly version, subdivided them a few times and sculpted in scratches and edgy imperfections to match the reference. For the UVs, I hand marked all the seams I needed for the unwrap because I wanted clear seams in the texturing process. I also deleted the back faces of this cloth, like here, because I won't be needing them, you won't be seeing it. It will save me some UV space. You can see the stretching here, it's not that bad because the textures won't be high resolution, so it doesn't really matter. And I did the UVs for all the separate objects I will be needing. I went into Substance Painter for the texture baking. I baked normal maps, curvature and ambient occlusion maps for the texturing process. I used geometry masks to separate the parts of my model. For the texturing, I used flat colors with a roughness value of 1 because I wanted this kind of stylized look. I only changed the roughness values in the metal parts and the shiny parts of my models. I hand painted some details like this pattern on the clothes and used procedural techniques for the rest of the models like curvature maps, ambient occlusion and position gradients. For the final render and presentation, I chose Sketchfab because it's free and it provides really great tools to work with. For the background, I chose a mid-gray tone to emphasize the colors of my scene. In the lighting settings, I chose an HDR from the list, the best suited my model, and after that I played around with some angles and the brightness of it. For the scene lighting, I ended up modifying all the lights that Sketchfab provides, with one orangish tone in the middle for the candles and two bluish point lights at the side to match the reference. For the final touches, I used some post-processing, ambient occlusion to emphasize the shadows, bloom effect for the lights, and some sharpness and color grading on the red tones. And here is the final result. If you like my work, you can check out my ArtStation and subscribe for more videos like this.